Hello and welcome to another Nikke video. Quiry Skill Kit has finally been released and I'm going to discuss it. Please leave a like and a sub and I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so this is Quiry. Her squad is going to be the ACPU. Her type is Supporter. The weapon is a rocket launcher. The burst skill is 3 and the code is Win. Looking at skill 1, it's called Glance and it's a passive. Activates when hitting a target with full charge. Affects the target. Attack down 8.94% of caster's attack for 3 seconds. Activates when attacking with full charge. Affects 2 defender ally units. Attack up 5.81% of attacker's attack for 3 seconds. Looking at skill 1, both of the triggers happen as long as she attacks with full charge. So with this unit, you're not going to want a quick shot because if you do, you're not going to get any benefit from skill 1. It doesn't state if the attack has to hit, but obviously it has to hit. And one other thing to note, to get the full benefit of skill 1, you have to have at least some defender allies in your team. So luckily there are some defender units. For example, there's a 2B, a Blanc, Senti, Diesel, Noah, Novel, Tia, for example. As long as you have some of those units on the team, on top of getting the benefits of the first part of the skill, you will also get the benefits of the bottom portion of skill 1. The only downside is this only affects defender allies. So if you happen to have other attackers or even supporters on your team, this will do nothing for them. So please keep that in mind. Next, looking at skill 2, it's called Scrutiny and it's a passive. Activates when entering battle, affects 2 defender ally units. Max HP up 11.63% continuously. Alright, looking at the skill, this skill is always going to be active as long as she's on the team. There are other Nikkes that have an HP condition in order for the skill to be active. For example, Noir, she has you have to have at least 70% HP or above in order for her skill to be active. But again, this only affects defender allies. So if they're not a defender, then they will not get max HP up. And if you have 0 defenders on your team, then pretty much skill 2 is non-existent, unfortunately. There will be some Nikkes that will definitely benefit from this skill that are defender units. For example, 2B, since a lot of her skills depend on max HP for her to do damage. There are other Nikkes as well. For example, Noah, Diesel, Ludmilla, for example, that do have that taunting mechanic on their burst. And this will help them live out longer. If you do happen to use them, most likely it's going to be used for PvP. Lastly, her burst skill, called Deep Stare, and it has a 40-second cooldown. Affects all allies, recovers 6.96% of caster's final max HP every 1 second for 10 seconds, affects all defender allies, critical rate up 19.9% for 10 seconds. Alright, we're going to be looking at the first part of this burst skill. She actually heals quite good compared to somebody like Blanc and Noir. They heal for less and for the same amount of time. But of course, there are other Nikkes that heal even more than this. For example, Summer Mary, I think she gets close to 30% for the same amount of duration. But other than that, I mean, that is actually pretty good recovery because a lot of people do use those 2 Nikkes that I just mentioned earlier. And for the second part of the burst, unfortunately, this only affects defender allies again, which luckily Nikkes like 2B will use this no problem. But unfortunately, a lot of the defender Nikkes are more geared towards taunting and just taking a blunt of the damage. Looking at the second part of the skill, unfortunately, it only affects defender Nikkes. For example, some that might benefit would be like 2B or Polly or Tia, for example. But other than that, only the first part of the skill will benefit the whole team. Now, for my final thoughts. Looking at her overall skill kit, it's very obvious that she's very defender oriented, this support, and it's looking like she's going to be pretty much a 2B battery since a lot of her skills really complement 2B's skill kit, because 2B's skill kit is mostly comprised of her having as much max HP as possible. So that's why you see a lot of times 2B being linked up with Mass, since Mass also does increase max HP. And on top of having the max HP, it will also increase the defender's damage, in this case 2B, because of the second part of skill 1, and also on the second part of the burst, the critical rate up. So yeah, she's really looking just like a 2B battery, unfortunately, at least for now, for anyways. I mean, I don't know what the future of this game holds, but looking at what units that would really benefit from the attack up and critical rate, unfortunately, there isn't that many Nikkes. For example, I already said 2B. Another one close would probably be Polly. Tia is in there as well. Oh, also Blanca, can't forget about her. There's Noah, Novel, Diesel, Jackal, like those Nikkes as well. But a lot of those Nikkes are mostly going to be used for specific purposes, maybe for a PvP, or if not, for a Union raid or solo raid, you know, for specific teams. Other than that, I mean, it's going to be very, very hard for her to take another Burst 3 spot, because there's a lot of really good Burst 3 Nikkes out there. And to replace her, to replace one of them with Quiry is going to be a lot to ask for. She does have her uses, but it's looking like it's going to be a very niche use, and it's going to be for very specific teams. And in my opinion, I do not think that she's a must-pull unit. She does have uses, but something that's going to be required for you, like a meta-defining unit, I do not think so, in my opinion. And luckily, they didn't put a meta-defining unit right before the 1 year anniversary, so at least that's good. But unfortunately, it does suck that she's put right before the 1 year anniversary. All right, that's about it. I have already given my thoughts on this Nikke, but I would like to know your thoughts as well. I would appreciate if you could leave your comment with your thoughts. If you happen to enjoy the video, please drop a sub. I'm Scrublord, and I'll see you on the next one.